Oakland Athletics Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
The A's starting pitchers have been dominant in the first two games of this series. Tuesday, after an 11-day layoff, Brandon McCarthy returned to the mound and threw 7 brilliant innings. Last night, Tommy Malone tossed the best game of his young career, keeping the Dodgers' bats off balance and picking up his first career complete game. Today, reigning National League Cy Young winner Clayton Kershaw looks to turn the table on the green and gold and try to salvage the series. Can the A's complete the sweep and continue their dominance of the NL West? It's the final game of the series. A's-Dodgers next. It is a cool, overcast day at the Coliseum. The A's are going for the sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we have a Major League debut coming up. Derek Norris called up, and he is in the lineup catching today for the Athletics, and the man he will catch, Travis Blackley. He won his last start. He'll try to make it 2 in a row. The A's trying to make it 3 in a row. A's-Dodgers, final game of the series. It's coming up right here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Story in this series, A's pitching. Ray, they've allowed 1 run on 5 hits to the Dodgers.
You know, Brandon McCarthy started on Tuesday, 7 innings of shutout baseball in a shutout combined against the Dodgers. And, of course, Tommy Malone, what he did last night. But Brandon McCarthy, 11 days since he had last pitched. And what did he do? He just pitched so great against the Dodgers. I think he said it best. Get the ball, work quickly. He used all of his pitches. He did work quickly. 7 innings, 81 pitches. And then, of course, Tommy Malone last night. No doubt he was so happy to get the nod from Bob Melvin to complete the game. He had never done it before. He used his changeup very effectively. He got the ground outs. He got the strikeouts and pop-ups, and even got a shower after the game as he was talking to us. He didn't mind the cold shower because he pitched so well. And today, of course, it is Travis Blackley. He was supposed to pitch against the Giants tomorrow night. However, probably a little better that he pitches against the Dodgers today instead of his former team. So Blackley, as you mentioned, Kipe, picked up his win in his last start, and I think that's important for him to get that first win as a member of the Athletics.
Well, it won't be easy today for the A's if they're going to sweep this Dodger team. They're sending the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw to the mound. He's nasty.
Well, I think the important thing last night was the fact that the A's won that game, so it puts a little bit added pressure on the A's to try to win the series finale and to avoid a sweep. He has outstanding pitches. He continues to throw a great fastball, great curveball, slider, and changeup. He's a tough pitcher, and I think the A's do have their hands full today, but you take the chance with the A's trying to get the sweep.
No, the A's are playing great baseball. They've won 7 out of 8. Dodgers struggling some, so the A's will try to finish off the 3-game sweep this afternoon here at the LAN at OAK Coliseum. We'll have lineups and first pitch. Again, a cool, overcast day at the ballpark. A's-Dodgers interleague baseball coming up.
California is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Toyota. Check out the great deals at your local Toyota dealer today.
Welcome back to the Coliseum. That is Derek Norris. He is making his Major League debut this afternoon, just called up from AAA Sacramento. So a big day for Derek Norris. We'll tell you more about him as the game goes on. Game time weather for this afternoon is brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. Cool 56 degrees under overcast skies, and start to wonder if you're going to see the sun today. It doesn't look like it. It's cool, overcast, and that young lady is ready. She's got a blanket. So it's that kind of day. Let's look at the lineup for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Gordon at short, Herrera in left, Ethier in right, Rivera at first, Hairston at second, DeJesus the DH. Then it's Uribe at third, Gwynn in center, and Matt Trainer is the catcher today.
Travis Blackley is on the mound for the Athletics, trying to duplicate what he did against the Padres in his last start, and that is win. He'll try to do that this afternoon to even his record. In the rotation, no limitation as far as the number of pitches he can throw in a game, so he can air it out. Just try to go as long as he can.
Here's the defense this afternoon for the Athletics. Johnny Gomes gets a start in left field. Crispin center, Cowgill in right. Inge, Pennington, Weeks, and Moss on the infield with, again, Derek Norris. The Major League debut today for that young man, and he will catch Travis Blackley.
And let's hope what he just did doesn't affect him. As the pitcher throws his 8 warm-up tosses and the catcher throws it to second base, he was strong. Threw it to Coco in center.
Oh, get that out of the way.
It's out of the way. He's ready to go.
So Blackley will pitch from the stretch, and his first pitch of the ball game to D. Gordon is on the inside corner of strike. Well, before today, Blackley, Norris don't know much about each other, so they shook hands. How you doing? Let's go get him.
What do you throw? Haven't seen any video. Heard you pretty good. And just as long as Norris was not surprised when he saw him pitching out of the stretch.
All right, Major League debut. A little geeked up.
Oh, I feel good. Jump, Jamal. Come on. You only jumped about 4 inches. You can jump higher than that. That's all right, though. No doubt, a little nerve-wracking, because when you're making your Major League debut as a catcher and you know your #1 objective is to handle the pitcher and trying to learn everything as quickly as he did, just called up from Sacramento, and so he shows up and saw him talking to Kurt Young and Travis Blackley and Kurt Suzuki. Of course, Zook will be very helpful for him on the bench, kind of help him along to how to call a game.
One-two pitch to Gordon. Pitch stays high.
You know, kind of what happens in a situation like this, too, and I think it's very important. Now, Travis Blackley knows that Derek Norris really doesn't know him. So he really, in a sense, has to call his own game. I mean, if he feels comfortable, you like to have the confidence in your catcher for him to put down a sign and you throw it. But that's a little bit different today.
Slowly toward Weeks, flips to first, and that's out #1.
We saw the same thing in 2007 when Jason Kendall was here, and I mentioned it before, for Kurt Suzuki to come up and didn't know the pitchers. They all trusted Jason Kendall, and so it's kind of come full circle to the point that they all trust. And that Jared Parker sitting next to him never shakes off with Kurt Suzuki. Same last night, Tom Malone. But Kurt will help Derek Norris, no doubt. Watch him and kind of talk to him between innings about what the Dodgers, what's happened in the last 2 games.
Here's Alan Herrera. Well, what's happened in the last 2 games is nothing for the Dodgers offensively. 1 run, 5 hits. They've received 4 walks, and that's about it offensively, thanks to Malone and McCarthy. So I don't care how good or bad an offense is or how many players are on the disabled list. If you hold a team to 1 run and 5 hits the first 2 games of the series, that's terrific. Dodgers are 9th in the National League in runs scored. good. Breaking ball in for a strike. So McCarthy, 7 innings, no runs. Malone, the first complete game of his career last night. 3 hits, 1 run. The 1-2 pitch to Herrera, and it's a swing and a miss. He went right back to that same big breaking ball. So that's 2 outs.
Whether he called it or Derek Norris called it, it's a great one. Throwing hard, as was the second strike to Herrera, and out on the front foot. Of course, the Dodgers last night experienced a very good changeup from Tommy Malone, and a good hook slider today from Travis Blackley, who throws, as you mentioned, over 50% fastballs at the 55% mark. Slider and the curve, another 33%. Mixes in a change, so his really across the board averages out, with the exception of the fastball being the dominant pitch.
2 outs for Ethier. Talking about that 1 run the Dodgers scored. Remember, that was the play where Reddick really had the ball in his glove for a short period of time, and then it popped out. That was a 2-out hit that knocked in the only run for the Dodgers last night and the only run in the series. So remember how close it was to being a catch. That's the difference between the A's having 2 consecutive shutouts.
Great effort. He had it in his glove, and I guess if they had the lines of the yardage markers, it would have been the ground cannot cause a fumble.
It was in there for a little while. 0-2 to Ethier.
You think about what the Dodgers are experiencing against the A's. As you mentioned, the back-to-back games by McCarthy and Malone and Travis Blackley today. Now they go to Anaheim. They face that great pitching staff, and then come back up north across the bay. Pretty good staff with the Giants as well. So they're in a stretch facing some very good pitchers.
Well, you get the feeling it's kind of one of those stretches where the Dodgers probably feel like, well, we got to be careful here, because we do have a 4.5 game lead, which is not a huge lead, but we've built up the great record and a little bit of a lead in the West. Things could slip away. Luckily, right now, the Giants are not playing great. They just lost 2 out of 3 again in Anaheim on the road. Swing and a miss. So a very nice first inning by Blackley. Couple of strikeouts. Bottom of the first coming up. Coco Chris to lead it off against Clayton Kershaw. Coliseum. Coco Crisp will lead it off, followed by Weeks, Cespedes, the DH, then Gomes, Inge, Moss, Norris, Howgill, and Pennington.
And it is the 2011 Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw, in 5-3 record, but a very impressive 2
86 earned run average. Good fastball, 93, 94 with a good curve, slider, and changeup, and there's the good fastball. And heck, one of the reasons I think, in talking to Rick Monday, he reminded us of the plantar fasciitis on his left foot, which is his push off. He says it doesn't bother him, but you have to wonder, when Big Mac, Mark McGuire, had plantar fasciitis, it was horrible and had to go on the disabled list, could not really deal with it. So anybody that's experiencing that, especially a pitcher with a push off foot, has to be affected a little bit.
Here's Rick Monday.
#1 draft choice in the history of baseball, 1965, Kansas City Athletics. Charlie Steiner, beardless. He looks so different without his beard.
Yeah.
He said it's been years, but I said, you always look younger without the beard. He said, I really look that bad. I said, I didn't say that. I just said you look younger.
2-2 the count to Coco Crisp.
Rick Monday experienced the white shoes for a little while, but he was traded to the Cubs. And of course, a magnificent save of American flag as two, well, I won't even describe what I think they are, but tried to burn the American flag in Chicago, and he rescued it.
That's a little tapper to third. Uribe bare hands, and he throws. Not in time. Coco's got an infield hit.
Boy.
Let's look at the Dodgers defense behind Kershaw. Herrera, Gwynn, and Ethier in the outfield. Uribe, Gordon, Hairston, Rivera on the infield, with Trainer doing the catching.
Watching that play develop, it looked like when Coco jumped at the bag that he was going to be called out. Uribe barehanded, nice play, but the jump right there as he's in the air as the ball is coming, and both Coco and Ty Waller called him safe. Unfortunately, so did Chris Conroy, first base umpire. That's a very good play by Uribe. Runners should try to run through the bag, not jump at the bag.
That one popped in the air right to Juan Rivera on the bunt attempt.
Well, we get a chance to show you in Exmo the barehanded grab, try to get a good grip. He does. Strong throw, good stretch by Rivera, the jump, and good call as Exmo shows barely Coco Crisp reaching the bag before the ball in the glove of Rivera. Our Exmo is brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort, and always good to see those plays, and makes it show how difficult it is for the umpires to make it without the benefit of Exmo.
Here's Yoenis Cespedes. First pitch, a fastball outside. So you see Kershaw right now, 91, 92 miles an hour. He's the kind of guy, if he's still out there in the 6th and 7th inning, he'll probably be throwing hard.
Well, he's right over the top, almost Sandy Koufax type as far as his delivery with his fastball over the top.
He's only 24 years old, 6'3", 220 pounds. From Dallas, Texas. So 93 miles an hour is the average fastball. Real good slider.
But you look at the percentage, 85% fastball slider. And if you throw as hard as he does, the slider's down and in to right-handers, almost an impossible pitch to hit. It just starts, looks like it's a strike, and all of a sudden to the back foot, usually out of the strike zone, and you swing over it.
Swing and a miss, and that is the exact pitch.
Boy, it's just right over the top. Watch how this ball goes down. Great tilt down.
Slide step.
Yeah, very good slide step, and to get that kind of movement on a slider out of the slide step keeps Coco Crisp close at first.
In the Cy Young Award-winning season last year for Kershaw, he threw 233 in the third innings. 248 strikeouts. So you get over 200 strikeouts, that's a lot. Well, you start getting up anywhere near 250. Coco goes. Rivera's throw in the dirt, and they just get Coco Crisp.
And the streak ends.
And it ends on Coco taking off and Kershaw going that way toward first base.
And Rivera bounced the ball to shortstop, but Lee Gordon made a very nice play, handling it and applying the tag quickly enough to get the call. Gordon had to catch the ball, then bring it down, and he put it right in front with Coco sliding head first. But you know, Kershaw has that move where he brings the leg straight up, which allows him to read the runner taking off and can make the change. That was quite caught in the turf.
Yeah, that little hesitation where he gets to the top of his windup, and advantage that a left-handed pitcher has. 2-2 to Cespedes. Breaking ball stays high. .279 with 6 home runs for Cespedes. Bounces that one foul.
Figured he would go to the slider, which he did, the hard slider. And
so that's where the streak stops. 37 consecutive successful steal attempts for Coco Crisp, but that comes to an end here in the first inning. High pop-up behind home plate. Trainer's got just enough room. He makes the catch. Side retired. So a leadoff single by Coco Crisp, nothing else, and we're scoreless after 1. Is brought to you by Wendy's Chili Cheese Fries. Now that's a better way to satisfy your late night hunger cravings? No, there's not. Wendy's, better later. Get a hat, get a jersey, get a jacket.
Looks like Weeks is the popular guy.
Not surprised. Second inning. It'll be Rivera, Hairston, and DeJesus for the Dodgers. No score. Hard hit ball right to Inch. And that's out number 1. We were talking about Coco Crisp. The stolen base streak stopped. Said 37, and actually stopped at 36 consecutive steals. Want to make sure we get that right. Either way, Coco's probably a little disappointed. That's a pretty nice streak to have. That many consecutive steals.
I think Ricky Henderson always said it best as the all-time stolen base leader. Probably will never see that record broken, but he said you can't be afraid to be thrown out. You know, if you're going out on the bases and worried about being picked off or thrown out, you're not going to steal bases anyway. Chili Davis had the team up in the batting cage taking batting practice, and I saw Ricky walk in. I said, oh, he's going to ask for a bat, Chili.
There's the 36. And it's funny, Ricky Henderson's not even on there.
Right.
Which means he got thrown out occasionally. Inge playing in. Flips it across. So that's out number 2. But how about Ricky Henderson when he set the record, right?
Yeah.
Stolen bases in a single season. You know how many times he got thrown out that year? 42. Yeah. So he was just going, man. I am not scared of being thrown out.
Well, it was right here against the Yankees. Matt Noakes throwing to Randy Velarde when he broke Lou Brock's record for the most ever, but he's flown past that just unbelievably.
Here's Ivan De Jesus. We mentioned it last night, the fact that there are 4 sons of former Major League players on the Dodgers roster. Well, all 4 of them are in the lineup today. Gordon, Hairston, De Jesus, and Gwynn. Their fathers all played in the big leagues. Busy inning for Inge, and that will do it. 6 up, 6 down for Blackley. Bottom of the 2nd. Coming up, it'll be Gomes, Inge, and Moss. Baseball, it's Authentic Fan Fridays here at the Coliseum tomorrow. It's against the Giants. You get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, a Battle of the Bay t-shirt, a cheer card, and a $6 food and drink voucher, all for one great price. Log on to csncalifornia.com for details.
Not that, yeah. That's a bid there.
You could go to games. You could go hunting in that hat. You could go to a football game.
And you could go to where it snows and it's cold.
Exactly.
Just drop the ear flaps down.
You lift up the helmet, the little plastic helmet. Ear flaps drop down and you're set.
You use the little helmet, put ice cream in it.
If it's cold enough. 1-1 to Gomes. And Gomes lines it to left. And that ball's not going to be caught by Herrera. It bounces away from him. And that's going to allow Johnny Gomes to get to second base. It's a good break for the Athletics.
Well, they always talk about don't get thrown out at third for the first out or the last out. Same, you don't dive for a ball that you're not 100% sure you can catch. Leading off the inning, you try to keep the double play in order. So the A's catch another break. They did it Tuesday night when Gwynn dove for a ball. Could not come up with it. A couple of runs scored, and Johnny Gomes should really have had a base hit. But instead, a miscue by the left fielder Herrera. Nice effort, but bad decision. And like Gwynn on Tuesday, the ball hit off his left arm. It could have gone to the wall. Fortunately, stopped it a little bit. So a good break for the A's again in this inning.
First pitch to Brandon Inge is high. Seven homers, 32 RBIs for Inge. He was not in the lineup last night. Eric Sogard got a start. Inge, he's 0 for his last 14. So Bob Melvin said maybe time for a break.
Well, the great thing about Bob Melvin, and he continues to alert players, let them know when they're playing, when they're not playing. And Brandon Inge knew Tuesday after the game he was not going to play last night. And it's just a great heads up.
And that one in the dirt, and that's going to allow Gomes to go to third. Trainer tried to block it, but it bounced way high up in the air and back to the on-deck circle.
Talk about the success of a slider from Clayton Kershaw. This is one of the problems he has. He throws it so hard that sometimes it does go into the dirt. And Matt Trainer anticipated the ball as he moved to his left. Moved the ball, was going to slide to his left, but it bit in the dirt too hard. And so the A's infield playing back. A run if Brandon Inge could make contact to the infield, with the exception of Rivera at first of the pitcher.
Inge down the left field line, but it is foul off the facing of the second deck.
Wow.
So 2-2 the count. Infield comes halfway in.
Yeah, that's the 2 strikes. That's the difference in the count. 2-1 played back. 2-2. See what Brandon Inge, if he tries to shorten up. He doesn't, though.
No. Not a bad guy to be able to go to and talk about during the game.
Evidently, there was a conversation during Tuesday's game when Coco ended up stealing 3. I guess Ricky might have talked to him after he was on base, and we kept wondering why he wasn't stealing. Well, I think Ricky was wondering the same thing.
Go.
Yeah, he called him over and said, hey, come on now. You know, here's what you need to do. And so he ends up stealing 3 to get up to 36 stolen bases without a caught stealing.
Another 3-2 to Inge. And that one's hit to left field. Herrera going back. Still going back, and he leaps up to make the catch right near the wall. Plenty deep to get Gomes home. So Inge with a sacrifice fly, and the A's take a 1-0 lead.
Talk about manufacturing a run. Johnny Gomes could still be at first base, but what a great break. The A's take advantage of it with the miscue and left, the wild pitch, and Brandon Inge came very close to making it a 2-0 game instead of a 1-0 game. Straighten the ball out. Johnny Gomes did not have to worry about rushing, as Herrera, I mentioned, playing all over the field. Had been in right field.
Moss with a base hit to right field. All right, Ray, we got a major league debut. First official at bat. Here he comes. Derek Norris.
That kind of reminds you a little bit of Mike Napoli, the way he's built. Of course, Napoli very strong.
Number 36, Derek Norris.
Come on, fans, stand up and cheer. Let's go. He's got to make this as a major league debut, first ever bat. But Mike Napoli built the same way. Mike Napoli, a great power hitter to the opposite field. Power hitter all over.
First pitch to Norris is a strike down around the knees. Norris, part of the Gio Gonzalez trade, coming over from the Nationals. 8 home runs, 36 RBIs for Sacramento. He's 6 foot, 210 pounds, 23 years old. From Goddard, Kansas.
Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, he's had some good power numbers in the minor leagues. 23 home runs in 09, 12 in 2010 in 94 games, and then last year 20 home runs in Double-A in 104 games. So I'm sure the power was very attractive to the Athletics when they were looking through the Nationals minor league system. So 1-2 now. So his first major league game, he gets to face Clayton Kershaw.
Welcome to the show. It's amazing, though, how players are called to the big leagues, and there's no such thing as sitting down and enjoying the day, whether in the bullpen or on the bench. It's you're here, you're playing.
Well, looked at the box score from Sacramento last night, and he was not in there. So Norris did not play last night, and you wonder if the A's had made the decision to get him up. Certainly not going to have him in the lineup in AAA if you know you're going to bring him to the big leagues.
I mean, it's one thing to get here or know before the game. You can get here at a reasonable hour versus playing the game in Sacramento, driving the 80-85 miles, and then showing up and playing a day game.
Hit hard towards second, and that is going to be a double play. So that's how the inning ends. Derek Norris' first major league at bat finishes in a double play, but the A's get a run. They lead 1-0 after 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Five to seven. Fingers have got the organ going out there. Just bring it in a little bit more there, Delaire. It's 5 to 7 in the Eastside Club. Enjoy beer from over 30 microbreweries, live music, Fingers, and much more. Souvenir beer mug and 2 tastings will be available for $10. Additional tastings will be available for purchase. Must be 21 or older to purchase tastings. Admission is free with a game ticket to that night's game against the Mariners. For more information, go to oaklandathletics.com/beerfest.
Juan Uribe to lead it off for the Dodgers here in the third.
Did you hear that? What Delaire just said? 10-5 barbecue challenge, 5 to 7 beer fest, and then watch a game.
That's a solid day.
It's a day. It's like being at Milwaukee, where we've never been, for the tailgating before.
It's like that every game. Man. Eat a lot, drink a lot, and then go into the game.
And cheer a lot.
Yeah. Change up. Uribe swings and misses. Uribe 1 for 6 in the series.
Oh, remember, it's a couple of weeks this Sunday that Travis Blackley had a line drive off his left hip in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. Oh, you had to wonder if he's even going to be able to pitch, but he has not missed a start. I kept talking to him. You know, he's traveled the world. He's been in Korea pitching there, in Mexico, but he said pitching in Mexico helped him so much, especially learn how to throw the fastball. He said he relied so much on the breaking pitch, but if you play winter baseball in the Mexican League, you have, if a hitter, learn how to hit an off-speed pitch because they throw a lot of breaking pitches. But when he went down there, he said it helped him develop a fastball, believe that he could pitch inside with a fastball, use the fastball more than just the breaking ball. So it kind of worked in reverse for him. Out of the stretch, as always, for Blackley, starting the game with nobody on base, and he throws the hard slider down and in that, like Kershaw, bounced it in front of his catcher. Talk about somebody who's got some frequent flyer miles, flying all over the world for him. Of course, from Australia.
Uribe pops a foul back. That guy's a day early at the ballpark with his Giants gear on. He'll probably be back tomorrow night.
Well, and it's going to be a fantastic weekend of baseball here. Sellout crowds. It'll be a mixture. You won't know where the game's being played from the sound of the crowd.
And Uribe swings and misses, so that's the third strikeout for Black.
Travis Blackley following what McCarthy and Malone have done in the first 2 games. And that's drilled the outside corner of the fastball. Okay, but I don't know that Blackley, of course, he won't have the opportunity because McCarthy and Malone both came up the elevator and visited the Hall of Famer, the great Vin Scully. And we yelled over, you guys never come and visit us.
Yeah, they don't like us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're their team's announcers. Yeah. We talk great about those guys, whether they pitch well or not. Of course, we're just joking.
Yeah, both guys from Southern California. But Vin Scully told me when I went over, I said, you know, they never come and talk to us. But he said he has never in his career had pitchers from the opposing team come up and say hello as those two did.
That was pretty cool.
That's amazing. 63 seasons of broadcasting Brooklyn and Los Angeles Dodgers baseball.
You know what I can't wait for, though? Is when Malone and McCarthy just come up to say hi to us.
Yeah.
That means we've made it, man. I mean, that means.
Yeah. And they had baseballs, and I'm sure there was a camera. And you figure, come on, guys. Now, Tommy Malone, as he said last night, I like you guys, but, you know, I hope my dad is watching Vin Scully.
Sorry, you know what? We're okay with it.
Absolutely.
We're just having fun.
No, it's great. But, no, that's quite an honor, of course, to the great Vin Scully, and rightfully so.
First pitch to Trainer in their first strike.
But Vin Scully has a schedule. He's over chatting with him. He said, we're getting ready to tape our open, and I'll see you later. You know, I mean, everything is just scheduled. Boyd is his right-hand man. Says everything is right on tap, so they're ready to go. But it's been a pleasure visiting with him these 3 days.
He's never in a bad mood, that's for sure.
But how about this? 4 perfect games that he's called, 25 no-hitters. He had Don Larsen's perfect game in the World Series. He's broadcasting. Had Sandy Koufax perfect games.
He's a treasure.
He is a treasure.
Baseball treasure.
And some great quotes throughout his career. And he got to broadcast with the great Sandy Koufax in Brooklyn and in Los Angeles. The 55 Brooklyn Dodgers World Series. I mean, so many great games that he got to call. They were honored to have him call.
So he called the Koufax perfect game. Was it 65?
65, September 65.
That, of course, that game being talked about now with what Matt Cain did, with the same amount of strikeouts in the perfect game, 14. 2-2 to Trainer. Pretty good pitch, but called the ball. 3-2.
That catch, Dwight Clark's catch. Vin Scully was doing the network in that game. I mean, done golf, professional golf, and football. I mean, all the sports. Just a wonderful talent. Captain, one of the things that he was telling me that he did in the perfect game, that he would say all the infielders and outfielders who were playing behind Sandy Koufax, and he said he did something just out of the blue. He said the time of day as Sandy Koufax takes the mound for the final out. And he said he did that for the family of Sandy Koufax, basically saying, you know, time. And he said all of a sudden everybody said, wow, what a great thing to say. The time of the game as Sandy Koufax is ready to make the final out. This perfect game.
Yeah. Line drive right at Weeks. He's got it. So 9 up, 9 down for Travis Blackley. 1-0 A's as we go to the bottom of the third. Final scores of your favorite team sent directly to your phone. Stuck at work or unable to watch the game, text athletics to 82653 to receive A's final score alerts. CSNCalifornia.com, your interactive mobile leader for A's baseball all season long. See, that gentleman could be getting an update on the score right now. I can tell you it's 1-0 A's, bottom of the third inning. A's got a run off Kershaw in the second. Dodger fans
got a Brooklyn, LA, Brooklyn. I mean, how great is that?
I like it.
One guy probably was back in Brooklyn when Vin Scully was broadcasting for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Look at that right behind him. The young man has the Indians hat on. See, right of the stairs. I like it.
And you know, those gentlemen, the Dodger fans, obviously wearing the caps, are saying we can go to the Coliseum before our Dodgers go across the Bay to San Francisco, as we talked last night. So what a strange schedule.
That is strange.
They get to see the Dodgers a little bit extra here in the American League.
If you're in that family, you got to eat an apple at the game. It's just the way it is.
So you figure this is 3 generations, huh?
Oh, maybe.
Brooklyn, of course, we know, and then the middle, the father moved to Los Angeles in '58, whenever the Dodgers did. And son came along.
Strike 3 call to Cowgill. So right down around the knees from Kershaw, his first strikeout.
Well, I think as a hitter, you have to just watch this young man, because right over the top, and that hesitation, as you mentioned, and there's Cowgill in the National League, where Kershaw pitched so effectively last year and has throughout his career. But what a young man, what a young talent, and for a lot of years probably going to be the face of the Dodgers pitching wise.
Long run for Hairston Jr., the second baseman, and he's back there to make the catch. Time now for our trivia question, which is brought to you by AT&T. The Dodgers have won an American League Best 10 Cy Young Awards. Who are the 3 lefty pitchers to win?
Coco, Chris.
Kershaw's got one.
You know the other guy does. We're talking about 32.
Yeah. A few other great names. Kershaw is in his 4th full year in the big leagues. So that means after the 2014 season, if my math is correct, that's when he would be a free agent. The Dodgers lock him up before that.
What the new ownership paid for the Dodgers, I think they will. They just signed, of course, Matt Kemp, long-term contract, Andre Ethier. And if you're going to do it with the offense, you have to be consistent, no doubt, and do it with the pitching staff, especially with this kid.
Well, interesting. Read something interesting on the Dodgers. They have, going into next year, $116 million already committed to contracts for next year. Their all-time salary high is $118 million.
Wow.
So they're going to have to ante up. Now, not necessarily for Kershaw. Because the numbers last year in the Cy Young Award winning season, he won the Triple Crown. Wins, ERA, and strikeouts, which just does not happen very often. There is a baseball Triple Crown statistically. And he strikes out Coco Chris, so that's a pretty good inning by Clayton Kershaw. A couple of strikeouts. We're headed to the 4th. It's 1-0 Athletics.
July the 3rd. This special patriotic themed show begins after the A's play the Red Sox here at the Coliseum. Bring the family and your picnic blankets and enjoy the show from the outfield grass. On-field capacity is limited. For tickets and information, go to oaklandathletics.com/fireworks. Always exciting when the boys from Beantown come into the Coliseum. The Red Sox, their first visit will be during that 4th of July period of time. 4th of July is going to be a special day for Troops Direct and your brother-in-law, Aaron Nierbond, and fly over. Of course, a lot of great things happening on that special day. Independence Day, America's birthday. The red, white, and blue cap's going to be given away.
0-2 now to the leadoff man, D. Gordon. Dodgers have gone 9 up, 9 down so far in the game. Blackley with 3 strikeouts. 5 groundouts and a line drive out. 0-2 pitch to Gordon is rolled foul. A big part of the A's being able to shut out the Dodgers or shut down the Dodgers so far in the series is they have really controlled the top 2 guys in the order, Gordon and Herrera. Neither of them have a hit in this series. And that one's looped toward Pennington, who goes back to make the catch. You get the 2 guys out in front of Andre Ethier, who's clearly the most dangerous hitter in the Dodgers lineup right now. Got a pretty good chance to slow him down completely.
Now batting, number 37.
So you throw Ethier in there, who has just 1 hit. Now let's not forget, the Dodgers only have 5 hits in the whole series.
Now, with the 2 guys you mentioned, Gordon, Herrera at the top, guys who have the speed, try to get on base, bunting. We've seen both of them attempt bunts in this series and unsuccessful. But there's one guy who teaches bunting for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We saw him a couple years ago when the A's were down there at early BP, by the name of Maury Wills, working with the hitters, especially those who have the ability to bunt for base hits. So I think he's been working hard. Who knows? He may even travel. They're going to be in Anaheim for the weekend series. Might be calling the great Maury Wills in. I mean, he can steal some bases. How about Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale pitching, one of those 2, and Maury Wills gets on base, steals second, goes to third on a bunt, scores on a sac fly. Dodgers win 1-0.
Well, yeah, they were. I mean, they were great teams, but they weren't great offensive teams at all in the 60s.
Great pitching, great pitching because of what Maury Wills did and what Drysdale, Koufax in particular could do.
What's the great line? Koufax threw a shutout tonight. Did the Dodgers win? Right? I've heard that a couple times.
That's
just
true.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, that's great.
But they really were not a power team at all. They won it in 63, 65, 59 they won. That's toward the gap, and that's going to get down for a hit. And Herrera is going to dig for second, and he's going to make it with a slide. So Leon Herrera gets his first hit in the series, shows off his speed a little bit.
Played him kind of straight up, and when it hit the gap in left center, it was going to be a relatively easy double for him. Trying to go fastball in, did not get it all the way in, especially on a 1-2 count. Left it out too much in the middle of the plate, and as a result, it's a 1-out double. The first hit, first base runner for the Dodgers. So it's not as if you're trying to get the pitcher to pitch out of the stretch, because Travis Blackley has been doing that from pitch number 1. And I think that's where it might help him in these situations, facing the tough Ethier and then Rivera with the tying run at second.
Struck out swinging in the first at Ethier. That one hit hard. Pennington on a backhand one-hopper throws to first, and Ethier is retired. So a huge out there. Ethier hit a bullet, but Pennington made a nice play.
Well, a very good play. He's trying to hold the runner Herrera close to second, then had to retrace his steps, get back quickly in his position, and backhand a very hard hit ball. But great hands by Pennington, and once he catches the ball there, he knows he has plenty of time because the ball was hit so hard. Ethier runs well, but Ball's hit that hard, he's going to be able to throw out the runner by plenty.
So 2 outs for Juan Rivera. The Dodgers now with the 2nd best record in the major leagues. They've had the best record for a long time, but the Texas Rangers, who have been playing great baseball, they've won 6 in a row and 9 out of 10. They now have the best record in all of baseball. Dodgers are 2nd. The Yankees are 3rd. Rivera reaches for it, pops a foul, and it's 0-2. The Nationals on that list, and the Orioles. Boy, how about that? The Nationals and the Orioles, best records. I think that's good for baseball.
Absolutely. I don't know all the attention that's been given towards the Nationals and Tampa Bay Rays over just a simple pine tar rag.
You see what Davey Johnson said about Joe Madden? Gee whiz.
I know.
I thought that was a little harsh. But who knows?
Another game tonight.
That's right. We'll get him.
Nice block by Derek Norris, and of course all he has to do is watch Kurt Suzuki during spring training or watch some of the video of Suzuki and his athleticism blocking balls in the dirt, and Norris, Stockley belt, still able to move around quite well. It's so important for this pitching staff. They trust the catcher to block balls in the dirt and the runners from advancing either into scoring position or scoring from third base.
1-2 pitch, and that's hit fair right over the bag and on the line, and that's going to allow Herrera to score as Cowgill gets to it quickly, but Rivera chalk lines one the other way, and it's a 1-1 game.
Just a protecting swing with a fastball and 2 strikes, and out in front of the first front foot on the off-speed pitch, and then watch just the late swing on a fastball. Just serves it down the right field line, and you're right over the bag, hit the chalk, hoping it would slice foul, but it just did not do it. Stayed fair, and those Dodger fans we showed cheered loudly as the Dodgers tie the game.
So Rivera gets his 22nd RBI, and here's Jerry Hairston Jr. Hairston fouls it to the right side.
Well, 2 hits in this inning, both coming with the same count of 1 and 2, both coming on fastballs, one inside. Did not get all the way into Herrera, and then the next one that brought in the run, the fastball away.
Hairston takes a fastball for a strike. Jerry Hairston has been with a whole bunch of different teams in his career. He's 35 years old, actually now 36. Had a birthday on the 19th of May. And did they get him? Yes, they did. Rivera gets picked off by Blackley. Just a little lean, and Blackley went that way. But the Dodgers tie it up on Rivera's RBI single. 1-1 game. It's a 1-1 game with Weeks, Cespedes, and Gomes set to face Clayton Kershaw. What you really don't want to have happen here is see Kershaw settle into a groove, which great pitchers, that's usually what happens. He's retired 4 in a row. One and 1 to Weeks, who tried to bunt and he popped out to first baseman. Shutdown innings, 95% for Kershaw. There's that hard slider. So 1-2 the count. Kershaw has just 1 win in his last 5 starts. It's hard to believe it. A guy like this could go 5 starts.
I think from the A's and hitters in general facing him, he has such a good slider that probably see a lot of early swinging, because if they get a fastball, they're not going to be messing around, and as a result, he and his catcher today, it's Matt Trainer, to go more to the slider first pitch.
That was a foul ball, yeah. I think it may have hit the ground first.
It bounced first in the dirt and off the bat. Trainer trying to block a ball that was deflected by the bat because of the foul ball.
So another 2-2 to Weeks. Fastball 92 miles an hour outside. And a leadoff walk. A good start for the A's here in the bottom of the 4th. That gets us to our AT&T trivia answer. The Dodgers have won a Major League Best 10 Cy Young Awards. Who are the 3 lefty pitchers to win the award? Well, there's the list. All the award winners. Koufax, Valenzuela, and now Kershaw. So you just talked about the 60s, Ray. Drysdale in 62, then Koufax 63, 65, and 66. Talked about Mike Marshall last night, 74. Should have warmed up when the smoke bomb went off. He didn't. Of course, Oral Hershiser with the terrific 88 season. Gagne with all the saves in 03.
And the Valenzuela.
That was something when he came up.
That's right.
He had the town of Los Angeles palm of his hand.
And before every pitch, he looked for divine intervention.
Yeah.
Look to the sky. Roll his eyes up to the sky and throw the screwball. Working on Spanish radio for the Dodgers. Threw a no-hitter called by Vin Scully the same day, the evening that Dave Stewart threw his in Toronto. Pitched his in Toronto. And Stewart did not even get to enjoy it that night because Valenzuela did it on the West Coast, with the A's being in Toronto. Fernando Mania. I mean, he created big excitement in the Los Angeles area.
1-1 to Cespedes. Funny, you look at those teams in the 60s. Juan Marichal never won a Cy Young. People are like, how could he have never won a Cy Young? It's like, well, that's why right there. I mean, Drysdale and then Koufax, 3 out of 4 years.
And of course, in the 50, the top when Don Newcomb pitching for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
He's pretty good too. That would hit to center. Gwynn going back near the wall, and he's got it. Cespedes comes up just a shade short. Maybe a hot, sunny day here at the Coliseum. He may have a shot. Not today.
Well, maybe a little bit towards the end of the bat. It left his bat, looked like it had hope of getting out, but watching Exmo, a little bit had to reach for it. So as strong as he is with his upper body, sounded good, but just did not travel straight away center. That smart pitching, trying to get a power hitter to hit it or try to pull it, end up hitting it to center field. He said he just missed the one last night to left field, got under a little bit too much, so he's coming back. And you figure the more he plays, those are going to be a lot farther than what they're ending up right now.
One out for Gomes. Gomes with a double. And he has scored the only run in the game for the A's. That was in the second. Nine hits in his last 20 at bats for Johnny Gomes. So after a little slump for a while, but now he's starting to hit the ball well. He's behind in the count 0-2 to Kershaw.
Don't hit him a foul ball. He's got his hands full.
No, he's got no chance.
Dodgers jersey, Dodgers cap. Dodger fan.
A lot of blue in the stands. Well, the Dodger fans have
they've really come out today.
Come out really the whole series, but today it's like maybe even a little bit more today. Hey, as long as they're paying for the ticket, right?
That's right.
We're not fussy. Close pitch. It's 1-2.
Probably a lot of those fans remembering the great Sandy Koufax wearing number 32 and figuring, well, maybe we have the same one in Kershaw. We did not see the number 32 worn by any of the players because it is retired by the Dodgers.
There's that big curveball, and Gomes swings and misses. So that is strikeout number 3.
Celebrate Independence Day with the A's. 10,000 fans will receive a patriotic A's red, white, and blue baseball hat presented by Wells Fargo when the A's play the Red Sox on the 4th of July. For more information and tickets, go to OaklandAthletics.com/tickets. You see a lot of those red, white, and blue caps in the stands instead of all these blue caps. Be a nice sight on the 4th of July coming up after the next road trip by the A's to Seattle and Texas, then back to the Red Sox for the 4th of July. It's the final week before the All-Star break.
Oh, 1 to Inge, who had a sacrifice fly in the second inning. Changeup bouncing way out in front. With the lead at first, dancing around just a little bit.
I think Angel is doing not calling a curveball. He's, of course, the pitch is left up out of the strike zone. He does try to throw some good ones down that are called strikes, but sometimes an umpire will see the break of the curveball, not stay with it. As we remember with Barry Zito for so many years.
Take by Inge.
Slow curve, the change up, and then a good fastball from Kershaw. You can understand why he's had the success he's had throughout his career, as young as he is.
So see if Inge gets something to hit on 3-1 from Kershaw. He does not, and it's a walk. Second walk in the inning. A's have seen Kershaw one other time. That was back in 2009 when the A's went to Dodger Stadium for a 3-game series. He had a no decision, but he had 8 strikeouts in 5 2/3 inning.
Brandon Moss.
Moss got a first pitch fastball, his first and only at bat. Hammered it to right field for a base hit. Runner in scoring position, might be a different story now. Shift by the Dodgers. Right, he did get it.
And a good swing.
Yeah. Brandon Moss has pulled most of the balls that he has hit, especially his home runs. He did go opposite field against Outman in Colorado. One of his home runs. He was surprised to see another breaking pitch as he got from Elbert, and a crushed slider for a home run. This keeps going.
7 homers. Out in front of that one. Kershaw really pulled the string. 75 miles an hour.
That'd have been a good one to try to stay back if you recognize it and hit the ball to left field. That entire left side of the infield open up with Gordon playing behind second base.
.62 pitches for Kershaw. So he's maybe a little higher than he'd want to be. Weeks an inch, ready to move, and that one is just a bit low. Now they will be moving. Full count.
It's pretty good takes by the A's to draw the 2 walks with Weeks and Inge. Good fastballs down that they have not offered at it. Let's see if Brandon Moss expands his zone a little bit.
Now there is a base open, and obviously it's third base, which makes it a little bit less obvious, but you have Derek Norris in the on-deck circle. So we'll see if Kershaw gives in to Moss. Runners go, and it's a swing and a miss. 95 miles an hour. So the A's strand a pair and a couple of strikeouts for Kershaw. 5th inning coming up. We're tied at 1. California is brought to you by Provident Credit Union. Provident Credit Union's super reward checking is better than free. They pay you. It's the 5th inning from the O.Co Coliseum. Blackley and Kershaw locked up, 1-1 game. And Jerry Hairston Jr. will lead things off, followed by DeJesus and then Uribe.
Both pitchers excellent left-handers today, and both have excellent moves to first base. Blackley picking off Rivera top of the last inning. Got him leaning a little bit too much.
There's a shot toward Crispin center. Hustles back. So that's out number 1. And here's our Subway Eat Fresh Ask Len and Ray question. Log on to csncalifornia.com to post your question. Joe from Dublin. He wants to know what determines whether or not an umpire calls an infield foul. That's a good question. So infield foul, of course, if there's runners on the bases, first and second.
Right. It's got to be a force out.
It's got to be a force out.
That's in 2 outs.
And it's got to be a pop-up.
Well, determined by the umpires that an infielder can catch it. It could actually go on the outfield grass.
Sure.
And they'll put their hands up if the ball is hitting foul territory, but they'll also say if fair. But it could be a foul ball, but it would not apply.
We'll give you the official rule book ruling in a moment.
I'd just like to see somebody run at their own risk, which is what it's all about. You don't see it.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Do you feel unlucky or lucky? Well, too, and I think, listen, you got to take, is it a super windy day? Is it a difficult catch for the infielder? I remember my brother Dwayne said when they called an infield fly rule at Candlestick, everybody was like, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Good call. As the wind is howling and the ball's going all over the place. Should never call an infield fly rule there.
But that's where the base runners, because the batter is out in that situation, but the base runners can advance if they see that the wind is taken where the infielder can't handle it.
De Jesus is retired. So here's the infield fly rule. This rule shall be invoked for any fair ball, excluding line drives and bunts, that can be caught by an infielder with ordinary effort when the runners at first and second or first, second and third. Bases are occupied with less than 2 outs. So basically first and second or the base is loaded. Any player stationed in the infield on the play shall be considered an infielder for purpose of this rule. There you go. So first and second or the base is loaded.
Right. Well, that's part of taking away the possibility of an infielder dropping the ball and getting a force out.
Well, isn't that the main reason?
Exactly.
So another 3 up, 3 down inning for Blackley. He's been good so far. Bottom of the 5th coming up. We're tied at 1.
July the 7th. St. Ben's Beer Fest, remember. The championship is a Pro-Am barbecue cook-off with some of the best barbecue teams in the country competing. Celebrity and VIP judges include A's outfielder Johnny Gomes and Glenn Kuiper. This event runs from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Creekside lot. For more information and tickets, go to oaklandathletics.com/Bay Area Barbecue.
What am I doing?
You like barbecue,
I
so
do,
I figured you're going to be a VIP judge.
We get to go back to Kansas City. Some of the best barbecue in the world.
What's that 1175? What is that? Is that the number of
calories? Probably not. Tony Gwynn Jr. tracks it down off the bat of Derek Norris. So Norris 0 for 2 in his first major league game.
You know, Derek Norris has a lot to live up to. As our guest last night, great Terry Steinbach. Great catcher for the A's, wears also the number 36, or wore the number 36, worn by Derek Norris in his major league debut today. So I have a feeling that Mr. Steve Vucinich, who is one of the best at handing out numbers, I mean, unless players ask for a specific number, maybe there's a little bit of a touch of going back in time with great Terry Steinbach.
Tough play for Gordon. His throw is in the dirt. Dug out by Juan Rivera. So Calgiller's retired. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. I don't know if Gordon was throwing the ball on the big bounce on purpose, but it turned out to be a pretty good play. Ball bounced out in front of Rivera, so it really wasn't a pick by the first baseman.
I think it's a great play, especially from the left side, deep. Shortstop or third base. Remember, Eric Chavez the first to do that from the A standpoint. And you try to avoid exactly what Kershaw did, airmailing the first baseman. He just airmailed his catcher. But if you try to throw it too hard, it's kind of indicating maybe he had a changeup grip. Talking to Uribe, so maybe that's one of the reasons he threw it in the dirt.
One and one to Pennington, who popped out to the second baseman Hairston in the 3rd inning. A's with 3 hits, the Dodgers with 2, so not a lot of offense this afternoon. Big breaking ball and fouled near the plate. Pennington 2 for 9 in the series, but he's been a fairly hot hitter as of late. More action for Gordon, and that will do it. So Kershaw has a 3-up, 3-down inning, moving to the 6th. Still 1-1 at the Coliseum. brought to you by Evergood Sausages. Pick up Evergood Sausages at your local grocery store today. Beautiful look at downtown Oakland. It's a 1-1 game, the Dodgers and the Athletics.
Aaron Nerbon on Diamond Vision in between innings, talking about Troops Direct and everything that's going to be happening on that 4th of July.
Just getting ready for the big day here at the Coliseum.
It's a great story and what he has done for the troops.
Well, nobody works harder at it. So we hope that on that day, everybody shows up and helps out Troops Direct.
Be a nice barbecue. Just to see the F-18s be flying over before the game. That's always a great treat. The American flag to come out and proudly display it.
One out here in the top of the 6th inning. Matt Trainer steps in.
You have to really enjoy these types of games when you have two very good pitchers. Of course, one's holding last year the Cy Young Award, and Travis Blackley just happy to be pitching at the major league level, considering where he has been around the world and had been with the Giants. He has claimed him off waivers in the bullpen, and to be very honest, it did not seem like he was going to be here very long with the Athletics at this level. But he proved that he could pitch, started the bullpen, jumped to the rotation on Memorial Day, and here he is pitching another great game, giving up just a couple of hits and 1 run.
Well, it's quite a story. I mean, he won his major league debut on July 1st, 2004, and did not win a game again until his last start. That's
great.
That is
perseverance.
7 years and 350 days between wins. That one lined into the seats foul. This was his last start where he got that win, and it was against the Padres.
No doubt all the time. Has a good fastball inside, and it's one of the pitches we mentioned that learned to throw more effectively in Mexico. Good hard slider that he's shown today as well, and walked off and was got him a win. A lot of run support that night.
Trainer goes around indeed, and that's a strikeout number 4 for Blackley.
That was just pitch number 60, and here he is dropping a very good slider. Check swing and Exmo. See the rotation. There's the swing. His Trainer's body not only went forward, but he carried the bat with him, and that's the reason Chris Conroy called him out from first base.
So here's the leadoff man, D. Gordon. Gordon with the ground out and a pop out. And that one is just foul. Moss playing off the line quite a ways.
Well, he also was expecting a bunt from Gordon, same that Gwynn tried. So you're playing even with the bag, but off the line, it creates a huge hole. And a lot of times with 2 outs, managers will have their corner infielders play closer to the line, give up a base hit that's to their right, in the case of third base to the left, but you can see both Inge and Moss off the line. You take away the line, you give up a base hit, but not an extra base hit.
Not a swing, says Mark Carlson. 1-1. Gordon is 0 for 10 in the series. Could have been a swing.
Yes, it could have. Every time the top head of the bat goes through the hitting zone, crosses the plate. And again, we're seeing it in slow motion. Exmo. Umpires don't.
Pennington on the run, and a nice play by Cliff Pennington to get the speedy D. Gordon. He's 0 for 3. 6 in a row retired by Blackley. Bottom of the 6th coming up. freeze cam. Coors Light Freeze Cam is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. It's the world's most refreshing beer. Top of the order for the A's here in the bottom of the sixth. Crisp, Weeks, and Cespedes. The last hit the A's had was in the second inning. They got a couple of walks in the fourth, could not capitalize. So indeed, Kershaw has settled in after giving up the run in the second inning. And even that run there, Ray, a little bit of a defensive mistake by Herrera in left field.
Absolutely.
The A's took advantage of it. Swing and a miss on 3 pitches. Coco Crisp strikes out. Oh, we got in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Go deep with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by AT&T Uverse. It's this evening at 6 o'clock, and it's on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Highlights from this game between the A's and the Dodgers. 49ers meet the rookies, Trenton Johnson. And Sharks prepare for the NHL draft. That's all coming up tonight on Sportsnet Central. Dave Benz and Scott Reese will be at the controls. So that strikeout of Coco Crisp was number 5 for Kershaw. This will be pitch number 78. So it seems like now, Ray, he's in a good rhythm. He's not taking a lot of time in between pitches.
All he has to do is watch Travis Blackley, because Blackley just an 8-pitch top of the inning, just 63 for him through 6. So I think both pitchers feeling that they can't afford to make a mistake.
Yeah, he gets right back on top of the mound. And a big overhand curve. Throw to first, so that's another strikeout. Number 6 for Clayton Kershaw. Now Kershaw was the first-round pick of the Dodgers, the 7th pick in what was the 2006 Major League Draft. I always like to look back at the draft and see some of the names. And we do the great, boy, they should have taken the other guy.
Well, he has had to live. They're still looking for his first one against the A's. Coach Shaver, but
well, you got to say Colorado had the number 2 pick, and
that's right. Greg Hoot.
Not a good choice. Pittsburgh passed up a couple pretty good pitchers that got Cy Youngs on their resume.
Longoria, pretty good pick.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. Well, that always happens. You're going to see every draft. There's going to be somebody that drafted low. I think back to Tim Hudson, great years he had, and still is pitching very strongly. And he was down in the draft. Cespedes didn't like this one. His trainer had to reach for it and kind of clanked it, but
not a strike.
Yeah.
But it's 0-2. And that one
was a makeup.
Just a bit outside. 1-2.
Mikey thought it was a strike, and I think so did Clayton Kershaw and that trainer and all the Dodgers faithful.
Cespedes.
That's not a strike. He is so strong. He can start his swing. You just cannot afford to watch his body, because just watching at full speed, then see how strong he is. The hands, it slightly went forward, but mostly body as he was fooled on the off-speed pitch.
No, he held up.
Yes, he did. That's some strong wrists and forearms.
2-2 pitch. This one's popped up, and Trainer is going to have a play, and he's got it. So Kershaw has retired 7 in a row, and we are through 6, tied at 1. 6. The Dodgers' last visit to the Coliseum. Oh, I remember this, Ray. 17 innings, and that's how the game was won. Bobby Crosby, a bases-loaded walk, scored Marco Scutaro, and the A's won the game 5-4. 17 innings, A's win it 5-4.
And I want Dallaire to run that video back again and pause it, and let's count the number of current players in that celebration.
And you would get the middle of a donut, 0. 2006? I don't think there's anybody around.
Well, Ellis, he's around, but he's in the other dugout. There is Mark Ellis, and I thought we were not surprised at his comments today about how embarrassing it was for him to see himself on the tribute, which was classically done by the Athletics last night. And okay, here's Bobby Kelty and Jay Payton, and wow, so Crosby, of course, hitting.
What's scary is there's some faces on you're like, oh, who is it? I don't recognize them. Leon Herrera leading it off. He had the one-out double in the 4th, and he scored the only run by the Dodgers so far. Ethier on deck, and then Rivera, 2, 3, and 4 for LA. Here's a strike. It's a very light schedule today. There was one game played earlier, and the Tigers beat the Cardinals in extra innings 2-1 in Detroit. Outside of that, just 4 other games to be played tonight. But it is a busy weekend with interleague. Big hop for Pennington, and that's out number 1. So Blackley outstanding today, and he's just following the trend. A's starting pitchers in this series,
Now batting,
7 hits, 2
16,
runs
Andre
in 22 and a third innings pitched. So 7 hits and 2 walks.
Remember the graphic we showed in Colorado with the pitchers, starting pitchers, and how poorly they had been pitching, and you just see the numbers for so far McCarthy, Malone, and now Blackley, and just fantastic. Jared Parker to the right of McCarthy will be pitching tomorrow night in the first game of the series against the Giants.
Andre Ethier has a strikeout and a ground out. Still leading the National League in RBIs with 55. Both he and Matt Kemp just got off to great starts this year. And Ethier has slowed down some. And Kemp, of course, on the disabled list.
Had a chance to visit with Ned Colletti, general manager of the Dodgers, and of course I mentioned about the trade. That was his first trade that we talked about with Milton Bradley coming to the A's for Andre Ethier and Al Lamacchia, who recommended strongly to Ned Colletti that if you make the trade, get Andre Ethier, and confirmed it and said everybody was ecstatic to get the star they have now in Ethier.
Well, and it helped the A's because they made the postseason. But what you also have to remember, the Dodgers made the postseason that year, 2006. And Ethier really wasn't expected to even be in the big leagues, and it turned out he was their everyday right fielder. But probably got to the big leagues maybe a year faster than even the Dodgers.
But, you know, a lot of times general managers are praised or criticized for trades they make or don't make. But go on your resume, if you're the general manager, Ned Colletti, your first move is acquiring a superstar. At the time, just a Double-A player, but turns out he's a great player, and with the finances of the Dodgers, they were able to sign long-term, so he's going to be a Dodger probably his whole career, other than the minor league time with the Athletics.
1-2 pitch. Moss on the dive. He's got it. Overhand throw to Blackley, who gets to the bag. Moss ranging far to his right. Down on his belly, made a nice play.
Well, they're very rare that a first baseman ranges so far to his right and it comes out good, because the ball was going right to Jamal Weeks. Moss could have stayed at first. Instead, he leads Blackley to the bag after a great diving catch. Remember, he's an outfielder turned first baseman. He almost threw behind Blackley too much, but Blackley slowed down momentarily to make the catch back over his shoulder and then found the bag to beat Ethier to the bag.
Well, throwing behind a pitcher who's got his glove in the left hand is one thing. Throwing behind a pitcher who's got his glove in the right hand makes it even more difficult. Blackley, you got to reach back, find the bag, keep your eye on the ball, and he did all that.
And we just saw something from young Derek Norris as you look at the pitches by Blackley. Blackley hustled to first base, and of course we've seen the veteran Kurt Suzuki immediately go to the mound to give the pitcher a chance to catch his breath. Norris stayed behind the plate. I'm sure somebody yelled from the dugout, "Go talk to him." It's always important that burst by a pitcher to first base. You never want him to go back on top of the mound breathing heavily after just that short burst. And
so he learned something.
Absolutely.
Next time it happens,
automatic.
Go on.
Automatic. And it took Kurt Suzuki a while. You just assume these guys are in such great shape they don't need extra time, but they do. They run hard. Mike Henriques gets them in shape, but bottom line, that burst to first base takes a lot out of them.
0-1 to Rivera. There's a shot past Inge down the left field line. So Juan Rivera is going to have a 2-out double.
A slider that stayed up to Rivera, tried to get it down and in. Instead, it stayed up about thigh high, and Rivera a very short stride, and well, that's how close Brandon Inge came to making a spectacular play. If he comes up with it, Rivera's out. Strong arm that Inge has, he just couldn't handle it.
So 3 hits for the Dodgers, 2 of them by Rivera. He had the RBI single in the 4th. So here's Jerry Hairston Jr. His brother Scott Hairston.
Yeah,
spent a little bit of time with the Athletics. Scott in outfield. Jerry more of a utility player. Plays all over the place.
Scott is still with the Mets. Is that last time I heard?
I think so. Yeah.
We seen him last year. Citi Field. The Hairston family always follow each other, and the proud father. And what you mentioned about the 4 sons of major league players on the roster of the Dodgers in the lineup today.
Playable to left. So 1 pitch to Hairston, and Blackley's out of it. So the Dodgers strand a runner in scoring position. 7th inning stretch coming up. It's a 1-1 game. McDonald's 1974, and that's the final out. The 74 World Series. My partner is going to get hammered right about there. Thanks, Sal.
Yeah, right. Thanks for my neck surgery that year, and Captain jumped all over me.
He's won the series in 5 games. Most valuable player in that series, Raleigh Fingers. Pitched in 4 of the 5. A couple of saves.
And another guy pretty prominent in that series got a save by the name of Catfish Hunter in Los Angeles. Warming up in between starts.
Bottom of the 7th, and Johnny Gomes to lead it off. Kershaw just through pitch number 87. He's got 6 strikeouts, a couple of walks.
I think it's great, and as great as Bob Melvin is, and knowing the history of the A's to wear the alternate go jerseys, pitchers a lot of times decide what they're going to wear, but it's appropriate that we're showing the '74 World Series. See those uniforms worn then and now, as this is the alternate jersey for the Athletics. The 3rd of 3 consecutive World Championships.
Breaking ball rolled foul toward the A's dugout.
And we showed Rick Monday, who was the #1 draft choice by the Kansas City A's, came out west, never got to enjoy any of those 3 as he was traded prior to the A's winning 3 straight. Great player, great career, and now a great broadcaster. Long time with the Dodgers.
Strike 3 called down around the knee. 7th strikeout for Kershaw.
Now, Johnny Gomes usually does not say a lot. Just watch his reaction. He thought it was ball 3 down too low. Reaction right there to the call by the home plate umpire.
Brandon Inge.
Some have been called strikes, some have not, and that one called on Johnny as he was ready to hit.
Inge to left field. Did he get enough? Herrera near the wall, and he's got it. And that's out number 2. Didn't miss it by much.
Well, they almost got one on the sac fly in his first at bat and tried to get inside. Brandon Inge got it, and let's see Kershaw's reaction. And Kershaw, pitchers know, sounded great, but just did not carry. And I think you said it best, the way Cespedes stay in. Cespedes hit Inge a couple of balls that maybe on a sunny afternoon would have been out, but not today. Just enough of the marine layer and the wind, slight breeze blowing. Never know with the swirling winds.
Good numbers for Kershaw. There's certainly a lot of great things you can say about Clayton Kershaw. And yeah, he won a Gold Glove last year as well, which probably goes unnoticed by the fact that he won the Cy Young. That one hit to center. Going back is Gwynn. Turns around. He's got it. Side retired. So that is 10 in a row retired by Clayton Kershaw. 1-1 game through 7. is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Whether it's a steam train through the Redwood Forest or the beach train to Santa Cruz, Roaring Camp is the ride of a lifetime. RoaringCamp.com. Good ball game, 1-1. It's the top of the 8th inning. Travis Blackley, how about that, Ray? Pitching into the 8th inning.
Yeah. Well, his pitch count is allowing him to do that in addition to his great pitching, but remember, he is not being held back because of pitch count, as was the case in his early starts, but he is following exactly what Brandon McCarthy and Tommy Malone did in the first two.
Well, in that last start where he got the win against the Padres, he went 6 innings, threw 104 pitches. He just threw his 76th pitch, and we're in the 8th inning. DeJesus, Uribe, and Gwynn. Bon DeJesus, of course, his father. See, I remember his father playing with the Cubs and the Phillies. Pretty good shortstop.
Very strong arm. Very, very
That's right.
strong.
I remember he used to just gun it across the first.
It's almost like you take off running to first, and when you're almost there, I'm going to throw you out. That's a great gun. Cliff Pennington also has that type of strong arm.
So a career high in pitches. Career high, not in pitches, but in innings, I should say. And he really has not had a stress inning. Even the inning where the Dodgers got the run on the Rivera 2-out hit, it was just right down the first base line, and then he ended up picking off Rivera.
I think just as important, Kev, he's got 12 ground ball outs, what I've counted, and you keep the ball on the ground. We've seen Kershaw dance around a little bit, thinking a couple of balls are going to leave the yard, but keep it on the ground. Utilize your infield, your defense. Got a much better chance.
And he gets DeJesus swinging. Strikeout number 5 for Travis Blackley. All right, looking ahead, here's our Chevron pitching matchup for the game tomorrow against the Giants. Parker against Lincecum. So the puzzle continues for Tim Lincecum. Nobody can quite figure out how he can be 2-8 with an ERA over 6. We'll see Lincecum tomorrow against Jared Parker. Parker gets pushed back a day, so he'll have an extra day's rest. So 1-0 to Juan Uribe. Uribe 1 for 8 in this series. Big swing, foul back, 1-1 the count.
This is one of the concerns. You're looking at the bottom part of the batting order for the Dodgers, and you have Juan Uribe hitting 7th, and he has power potential. I mean, he can unload. Of course, played a lot, but 1 home run. But he's just kind of one of those scary guys in the lineup that, as aggressive as he is, people always say, why doesn't he swing at strikes? Somebody that aggressive, you don't care how he swings.
Nasty pitch there. Well, Uribe, the season that Giants won the World Series, he had 24 home runs, and they're big hits.
Well, of course,
he just kept getting big hits.
And I remember when that happened, people were saying, why doesn't he take more? I said, why would you want a guy who swings that way? That you can't pitch to somebody who is as aggressive as Vladimir Guerrero. Juan Uribe. There he is again, swinging a bad pitch, but still aggressive, and a big strikeout and a big curveball from Blackley.
So 6 strikeouts now for Blackley, but stretching out the rest of that series against San Francisco and the other pitching matchups, it'll be Lincecum and Parker, and then Bumgarner and Ross. So Tyson Ross will be called up. And then on Sunday, Matt Cain and Brandon McCarthy. So as always, intriguing pitching matchups. 2 very good pitching staffs. A couple of the better pitching staffs in baseball. So Parker gets the nod tomorrow night. So it'll be a very festive atmosphere, as it always is, those two teams play. First pitch to Tony Gwynn is a strike. The A's have swept the Giants here at the Coliseum the last 2 years. The Giants are rooting for the A's the last 3 days, and the A's have helped them out. Trying to do it again today. 1-1 to Tony Gwynn, who has grounded out twice. There's a strike. 0-2.
Even with the 2 strikeouts in this inning, you look at strikeouts, how the pitch count can add up. This is only 87th pitch coming up, and he is pitching as effectively now as he did in retiring the first 10 batters he faced.
Setting up outside, and the pitch is grounded toward Weeks. Couple steps to his left, and that is another 3-up, 3-down inning for Blackley. Blackley showing some emotion, and he is rolling along, folks. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 1-1 game.
No way!
Here's our game summary, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. That's the sacrifice fly by Brandon Inge, who would score Gomes in the second. There's Juan Rivera, chalk line down the right field line, and that was the only run for the Dodgers. It's a 1-1 game. Both Blackley and Kershaw have been terrific. And they are both still in the game. Blackley 8 innings, and here's Kershaw to work in the bottom of the 8th. He'll face Norris, Cowgill, and Pennington. There is some action in the A's bullpen. 1-3-0 for the Dodgers, 1-3-0 for the Athletics. So all kinds of pitching today, and really in the entire series. There's a shot just foul by Derek Norris. Norris making his major league debut today. Cook throwing for the A's.
Well, I'm sure when you looked at this matchup today, everybody would think, even though Kershaw had been struggling, not really where he was up to last year, but nobody expected that guy, Travis Blackley, to do what he has done today. Remember, he's supposed to pitch tomorrow night. Backed him up or moved him up a day, pitched today, and he's been spectacular for 8 innings against the Dodgers.
This was in between innings. The manager checking on his pitcher.
I'm sure he's saying there's not much more you could do. 8 solid innings. He gave us a chance to win. And just like to see Ryan Cook come in with a lead.
Breaking ball lined right at Uribe. Snags it, and that's out number 1.
Well, he had 3 shots trying to get them past Uribe, and finally one in the air that he caught. But aggressive swinging by Derek Norris in this at bat. Got a hanging curveball and crushed it right on top of it, but right to Uribe. No stride, nice swing, and you can see the power that he can produce.
No, one out. And here's Cowgill.
I wonder if Blackwood just dropped a mate.
Hey, mate.
Nice job, mate. Was.
Cowgill struck out looking in the third and grounded out in the fifth. The Rangers have an off day today. They, of course, are sitting on that 6-game winning streak. They will host Colorado on the weekend. The big news there is Roy Oswalt is going to start tomorrow night in Arlington against the Rockies. So that's big news.
Well, it was reported to take about a month for him to get ready, and I guess
right.
A little bit early today, the 21st, but the Rangers happy to get him.
That'll be the start of a 10-game homestand for Texas. They will also host Detroit and then the A's for 4. So if Oswalt pitches Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so he probably would not pitch against the A's, at least unless he got pushed back a day. We'll see. I think Juan Rivera wants some glasses. Yeah. Probably a good idea is starting to see a little bit of the blue sky, but not a lot.
The old traditional flip down. So you put them right under the bill of your cap, just tap your cap, and the sunglasses fall down over your eyes. Ideally, there it is. Perfect timing. A little flip. You see those that often, but they are the best. See a lot of the wraparounds, the Oakleys, the various types of sunglasses, but flip down has the best type of lens in them to shade your eyes. Tough sun here at the Coliseum, trying to peek through.
And you wonder how you get them down. There's a little digit that kind of sticks out past the brim of your hat, and make sure your finger trips that little digit.
You can either hit that or they're so close to the bill, you just tap your cap and they automatically fall down.
Cowgill, pop-up foul. So the count remains 3-2 to Colin Cowgill.
Ryan Cook is heating up. He will be coming in. No save on the line. At least if it's a tie game in the 9th inning, but the A's would like to change that in the 8th.
Slowly hit toward Gordon. Fires in time to get Cowgill, and that's out number 2.
Thursday, July the 19th, it's the 7th annual Dog Day at the Park, presented by Evaderm Adams and Nylabone. Fans are invited to bring their dogs to the park as the A's host the Yankees at 7:05. This year's event will feature a pregame pep rally and a parade around the field. Now it begins at 5:20, where each dog will receive a goodie bag. For more information and to register for the event, go to oaklandathletics.com/dogday.
Two outs for Pennington. The Angels, I'm sorry, Ray, they have the day off, and they will, of course, host these Dodgers this weekend. The Angels have won 9 out of 12.
It's going to be a good series. And the Freeway Series, as they call it down there, the Bay Bridge Series here. Subway Series in New York. What do they call it in Chicago with Wrigley and now USL? Crosstown?
Crosstown Series, that's right. Yeah.
Not the L train, I guess Crosstown.
Andre Ethier's bat. He's under it. And Clayton Kershaw, 13 in a row retired as we head to the 9th, tied at 1.
Brackley started the game out of the stretch. He finishes 8 strong innings, his best out of the stretch, and 6 strikeouts, 87 pitches, did not walk a batter. He faced a total of 26 batters, 22 first pitch strikes, and he leaves with a little bit of an emotional shout out. And why not, man, to pitch that effectively against these Dodgers, and knowing that it was going to be a close game because of Clayton Kershaw on the other side. But a very impressive line for Travis Blackley.
So the only bad news is he's going to get a no decision. He was outstanding.
Something great to build on. Wow.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog expert. So Ryan Cook comes in. The luxury you have being the home team, you can bring your closer in the 9th inning when it's a tie game. Hopefully he gets your team back in the dugout and you try to win it in the bottom of the 9th. He'll face Trainer, Gordon, and Herrera. And the first pitch to Trainer is down around the knees, first strike.
So between McCarthy, Malone, and Blackley, 24 innings by the starting pitcher, 2 earned runs. That's impressive. And 2 wins so far, trying to get the 3rd.
Cook pitched in game 1 of this series, 1 inning and a walk and a strikeout. Fewest hits allowed in a 3-game series. The A's are messing with the history books. 8 hits allowed so far. So, series against the Rays in 2010.
I think one of those
sounds like a perfect
game. I was going to say
that would help that number.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah, that would bring it down tremendously. 4 Rays. Oh, they get a lot of attention. A lot of times where they don't want it, and getting it now with the Nationals, and of course got it with not only perfect game by Dallas Braden, but they had some no-hitters. Joe Madden is great, though.
Davey Johnson doesn't necessarily think he's that.
No.
We like Joe.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Full count to Trainer. Trainer, a line out and a strikeout so far. And that one just missed inside. Cook walks the leadoff man and the 9th place hitter here in the top of the 9th.
Well, Ryan Cook really never makes it easy. I mean, he throws hard, a lot of movement on his fastball, and Trainer started, but the pitch was inside as it just kept moving down and in.
Gordon.
Don Mattingly happy with the speed of his catcher Trainer that he's so far going to leave him in the game. Would have to think that Gordon's going to be sacrificed and be surprised if he didn't.
There's the bunt attempt, and it's rolled foul. Josh Lindblom is throwing out in the Dodgers bullpen. Now he's joined by their closer. That's the big fella right there, Kenley Jansen.
One thing about the speed of Gordon, and Brandon Inge knows it as he's creeping up front of the bag at 3rd, that if Gordon lays the bunt down, you have to think quickly. You can't hesitate. And that being, there's now 2 strikes if he tries it again, but tried to deaden the ball there and didn't run out of the box on a ball that was not that far foul. Looked like his upper body with the bat wanted to bunt, but the lower body wanted to get the heck out of there.
Hitless in the series is D. Gordon. Bunting again, and this is a good one. Inge will pick it up. He's going to throw to second, and they got him.
Wow. Well, there's your rifle. There's your gun from Brandon Inge. Bare hand. Nobody could tell him what to do. He just picked the ball up and fired to second, and maybe right there. Granted, Trainer runs well, but he's a catcher, and those legs get a little bit tight catching 8 innings. But Brandon Inge knew who was running and bullet to second base, bare hand. And remember, folks, you can't determine what kind of grip you're getting when you pick up a ball barehanded. We saw Uribe do it, and Brandon Inge did it perfectly, and a nice stretch at second by Pennington. That is a big out. A gutsy play by the veteran Brandon Inge, who has a tremendously strong arm.
So here's Elian Herrera. So now the cat and mouse game starts with Gordon, because he is a very good base stealer. And he's got 21 steals on the year.
There's also, and the Dodgers really not had a lot of opportunities today because of the great pitching by Blackley, but a catcher making his major league debut behind the plate, and you would have to think that sometime Derek Norris is going to be tested in this half inning with the base stealer at first. And Ryan Cook to try to keep him as close as possible.
Gordon second in the National League in stolen bases. There's the defensive numbers for Norris. 32% throwing out base stealers, which is a pretty decent number. Gordon's got a good lead. If you want to know the count to Herrera with Ethier in the on deck circle, he was leading.
Yes, he was. He was going, and quick move by Ryan Cook. He's going to push off with the right foot to get back. He didn't slip. He went to the outside, the outfield part of the bag, but he definitely was running. And you know, that's one of two things. Manager Bob Melvin saw Chip Hale. Do you pitch out thinking he's going to be running again, or is Gordon with the green light going to shut it down? Tony La Russa would have his base runners intentionally fake towards second base, trying to get a pitch out thrown, knowing that he was not going to have him run. But of course, it would get a ball for the hitter. Be a pretty good base stealer to do that, though.
And there he goes. That pitch is a strike. The throw is there. They got him.
Beautiful. Well, Derek Norris, you have passed the test. And the A's fans standing and cheering while the Dodgers thought they had a runner in scoring position. But a great throw, great footwork, and a perfect throw and a great tag by Weeks at second, and there's a throw right on the money. It had to be a quick release, and he got him. What a great throw by Derek Norris. And take the mask off and watch your first caught stealing. You could see Herrera and a faint back thinking that he's out, and he knew. Look at this quick tag by Jamal Wicks, bang bang, and even Gordon thought he had a stolen. But a strong throw by Derek Norris, and he got it. What a great play.
And now the count 1-2 to Herrera. Slider stays high.
Derek Norris got a pretty good pitch to throw, but very, very quick footwork. We talked last time about Terry Steinbach. It all starts at the base. The footwork, you get turned, strong arm, accurate throw. It all results in a called steal.
Fastball runs outside, so a full count now to Herrera. And you want to get this guy because Andre Ethier is standing in the on deck circle.
Well, it's been too good of an inning to give him a chance. You look at what Inge did, and now Norris, and bases are empty after the leadoff walk.
3-2 pitch swing and a miss. Got him with a fastball. And the Dodgers do not score thanks to Derek Norris. A beautiful throw. Bottom of the ninth coming up. The A's will have the top of the order. we've reached the bottom of the ninth. It's a 1-1 game. The A's need a run to win it and sweep the Dodgers. When it's time for a change, the Expedia Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog expert. So Josh Lindblom comes in. This is our first look at Lindblom. Big right-hander. He's 6'4", 240-pounder.
Good fastball, low 90s, 2 and 4 seam fastball. The other 3 pitches, curve, slider, and changeup. He's seeing it for the first time. The sun peeking through the clouds. I just wonder, with the sun comes out, how it might affect the ball that might be hit. The Dodgers and the A's have played 2 night games. Overcast for the first 8 innings of the game. But this sun trying to peek through, and it could play havoc on the infielders and outfielders, as everybody knows, with the sun here at the Coliseum.
Coco drives one down the right field line. Ethier headed for the corner, and it drops just foul. So Clayton Kershaw, like Blackley, well, he got a good workout. 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. He threw 111 pitches. So he was excellent, but he gets a no decision.
Well, the defense, the A's, and the failure of some of the defensive plays by the Dodgers, especially in the second inning on a ill-advised dive by the left fielder Herrera, and that's big in this inning. Kershaw could have had 8 innings of shutout baseball. But the A's working him, got his pitch count up, and after 111 through 8 innings, he's got a no decision like Travis Blackley.
1 and 2 pitch to Coco Crisp. And that was lying down the right field line. Foul. Lindblom got to the big leagues last year with the Dodgers. Pitched in 27 games. He was a second-round pick of Los Angeles back in 2008. Midwest kid from Lafayette, Indiana. Home of Purdue University.
It'd be great to get Coco Crisp on base. The A's, the top of the batting order, then Jamal Weeks batting second. So with the speed at the top, and of course the power in Cespedes, Gomes, Reddick, and Neon are actually still in the dugout. You never know if he might be asked to pinch hit, but sets up nicely for the A's in the 9th inning, especially with the top of the batting order.
Breaking ball, not close. Full count to Coco Crisp. Coco a single in the first, and then a strikeout in the third, strikeout again in the 6th. Coco 3 for 8 in the series. And he may have swung at ball 4, and he pops it up over our head, which does not happen very often, into the 3rd deck.
Well, the 1-0 as a high fastball they pulled down the line was also a ball, but it looks so inviting, but it's hard to get on top of a high fastball.
And that one not close, and the A's have a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 9th inning. So with Crisp getting aboard, Weeks the hitter, you have all kinds of possibilities if you're Bob Melvin.
And you think of the top of the inning with Matt Trainer, there's a difference. You have a leadoff walk for the Dodgers, it's their catcher.
Yeah.
And now you have Crisp, who has much better speed.
You can run, you can bunt, you can hit and run, you can do anything.
So many things. I mean, you get the infielders moving. Uribe already way in front of the bag at third base on the grass. First base, of course, Rivera has to hold Crisp. Jamal Weeks bunted foul in his first at bat. Freezing. Tried to.
Outfield shifted toward left center just a bit. Uribe creeping in at third. Weeks to bunt, and it goes to the backstop. Thank you very much, says the Athletics, and Josh Lindblom has been all over the place. So a huge 90 feet.
Well, that's a great point, because they're trying to bunt, give up an out, and the ball almost hits him, and Trainer just couldn't reach back quickly enough to catch the ball. He's set up outside. Pitch is thrown too hard down and in. He could not reach it in time to put a glove on it, at least to keep it close to him. Got a glove on it, but passed it.
Well, Lindblom, 11 walks in 34 innings, which is not really a lot.
Of course, right now, Jamal Weeks, if he bunts, he wants it to go to third base, forcing Uribe to make the play. And I would think he's going to be bunting. Give himself up and force Don Mattingly to make a decision.
Rivera crashing at first, and that pitch is way high. 2-0. Cespedes in the on-deck circle.
You have to figure, regardless of what happens, that man's going to be intentionally walked. Cespedes probably would not get to swing the bat. Whether Crisp is at second and Jamal's at first, he's not going to bunt.
And then Johnny Gomes would step up, but Tom Melvin would have a decision to make there. 2-0. Weeks squares early.
This is a time you're not afraid to tell the world what you're going to be doing. And for Jamal, a lot of times hitters will wait till the last instant to square around, but Jamal, he wants everybody to know he's going to bunt. Go ahead and square around, get yourself positioned to lay the ball down, get it down where you want it.
And it's bunted toward third, and Lindblom, what's he doing? Thank you very much again.
It's Eovaldi all over again.
Wow.
Eovaldi did it last night, and
he had absolutely zero play, even if Uribe would have been at third, and he was nowhere near. Third base was completely vacant, and still Lindblom looked over there, and the A's having a great opportunity to win this baby right here.
You know the great thing about the pitcher here, he didn't throw the ball. He could have thrown it down to the bullpen for the A's. I've seen that happen. Because when he saw the bunt, he fielded it. He figured, as Eovaldi last night, that the third baseman is going to be back at the bag. But you made a great point. There's no way that with this bunt, Uribe positioned where he was, that he could get back quickly enough. And I tell you, Mike Gallego was almost the defender at third base, because he was the only guy that Lindblom could throw to.
Rick Honeycutt's going to trot out. Well, there's your defensive mistake, and in games like this, Ray, we're 1-1 game, late innings, a lot of times it's a simple mistake that can cost the game.
Exactly.
And it hasn't happened yet, but certainly that's a huge mistake. And now the A's first and third, nobody out for Cespedes.
And you know, defensively, what the Dodgers may do in the future is tell Uribe to stay at third base, force the pitcher to make the play. If he's going to continue to do this, as Eovaldi did last night and now Lindblom.
But isn't a catcher screaming first, for he should be, right?
He should have been, because, and the pitcher should also know that where his third baseman is lined up, he's halfway to home plate. You can't get back that quickly.
And it's a tag play, not a force play.
Exactly. So it just sets up nicely. And of course, the infield, it looks like they're going to pitch to Cespedes. Infielders, outfielders all playing in. The outfielders playing exactly where they should be, very shallow in the outfield, because any ball hit normally to the outfield is going to drive in the speedy Crisp anyway.
First pitch to Yoenis Cespedes, and he takes a fastball outside corner for a strike. You know, sometimes you'll see a team walk the bases loaded here, but the Dodgers not doing that. Seth Smith has come out into the on-deck circle. Weeks takes off. There's a shot down the left field line. Gone! Cespedes wins it. It's a 3-run walk-off homer, and the A's sweep the Dodgers.
And Yoenis Cespedes taking that slow trot. He's really taking it easy on his hamstring.
Now he took a first pitch fastball for a strike. He was not going to take it again. And he just hit a shot right down the left field line.
Remember the ball he hit last night? He hit it so hard he couldn't hook it foul. Well, he did the same thing on the home run. And, well, what a shot by Cespedes.
So Yoenis Cespedes with his first career walk-off home run. And, boy, what a three-game series. The sweep over the Dodgers. And let's take a look at the walk-off. Here it is.
Well, they try to go inside. Wrong mistake, Matt Trainer, because Cespedes crushed it. If it's fair, it's gone. It's gone. And all this was set up because of a bad play by the Dodgers, because if they get the out, then Don Mattingly does not have to face Yoenis Cespedes. He can put him on and maybe even the next batter. But by going first and third, nobody out, Cespedes, the bat speed is back. And it's great to have him back in the A's lineup right in the middle.
So the A's now 34 and 36, so they're getting nice and close to